So I remember I had moved to Holland, and I, for the first time, was living by myself. I got my own private retreat in my apartment. And I was reading all of these spiritual books about enlightenment. And before I'd seen them, and I just thought, oh, that's just something totally unattainable in my lifetime. I don't even think about it. But I had a lot of space for the first time in my life, and I really read them, and I was like, oh, this is very simple, actually. And I read a lot of books about the Dalai Lama, and the Dalai Lama just put things so simply. And at the time I was also studying Tibetan Buddhism and going to the different retreats about purification, and these different kinds of meditations were so fascinating to me because I've been doing them my whole life, but I never had a structure for it. So the conditions were very right for me, and I went to a retreat at Vajrapani Institute in California. It was a Vajrasattva retreat for purifying over New Year's, and I'd done it 1 year before. But this time I came back, and I had been experiencing meditation, and just everything, I don't know, it was so clear that there was no other direction my life was going to go from this point. And I think maybe it was just a lot of the stillness and being surrounded by so much energy, by the collective energy, and all the deities, everything was just kind of supernatural. And I really wanted to meet this Lama, who was the director of the center. And I felt I have to ask this Lama, because I really took refuge in this Lama. And I have to ask him, what should I do with my life? Because I feel like being a meditator my whole life is exactly it. There's nothing else to do. This is it. And it was like I had a conversation with him there. And I just had to meet him, so I did. And I went to a retreat. Everything was just very perfect timing, the way that it flowed. It was just like walking down a path with no obstacles. It was very easy. So I felt supported by the whole universe, very synchronistic. And I went to this retreat. I asked him a question in the form of a letter, because he's very, very busy and very popular. And it was actually very shocking what he asked me to do. But I had already made up my mind that I wanted to become a nun in another tradition. But the spirit in which he wrote the letter was the way that I was going to direct my life anyway. Just the form was different. He told me to translate the Dharma. He wanted me to be from Tibetan to English, to be a literal translator like this. But my intention in my heart was to translate the Dharma into a way that people could practice in their daily life, and where they could really understand and digest it easily, no problem. So this is where my life was directed, and the whole time I just felt, nothing special, nothing mystical, but just like, this is it. This is exactly what needs to be done now in my life. And it was the answer to countless prayers and countless questions. And it was just easily digested.